Oliver Smith and his sets stressed the space, the enormous great masses of land and mountains and sky, and a few little corral rails. Now, I use the people when they're quiet, very still.
In 20th century America, ballet started to explore new themes and styles. But America still had no major company of its own. Then, in 1940, American Ballet Theatre was formed. While its training and repertoire followed a direct line from the European roots of ballet, American Ballet Theatre was conceived to nurture a vast repertoire of choreographic creativity. This dream appealed particularly to some of the company's young American artists looking for a place to develop their own ideas. Among them, AGNES DEMILLE. Here, she and other young choreographers opened traditional ballet to American styles and concepts.
On a handle. Try it, all of it. The turns, and turns, 2, 3, 4.
Well, of course, we began with Sylphide, and we had several ballets of Michael Fortin's. We had 2 or 3, and actually he did the last ballet of his life for American Ballet Theatre. But it was, of course, the intent to develop new forms, new styles, new experiments. I think the hallmark of American Ballet Theatre is its catholicity, the enormous range of its repertoire. There is no repertoire in the world like this. I would love to have composed myself a classic ballet, but I couldn't. I'm contemporary, I'm American, I come from my own background, I have to speak from my own background, and that would be American vernacular. I introduced some tap steps into it and so forth. Well, that's part of our vernacular, and we have to use that. It's native, it's our idiom. And the regisseur was a Russian, and he rushed to the telephone and said, she's reducing this ballet rehearsal to the status of a nightclub. Well, he was talking in Russian, I couldn't understand him, so it didn't make any difference at all, and I just went right on. And then when it went to the riding movements, which are very difficult to do, they're not just hobby horse movements. They use the whole body the way any athletic exercise uses the entire body. And by the way, I think that's one of the things the Americans do. I made these men really use their backs, the way a tennis player does, the way a pitcher does in baseball. The whole ballet of Rodeo, I think, is very American. Not only is it situation American, of course, it's a genre study of the West, but the style is, and I don't mean just the idiom of the dances. If you know anything about early 19th century American painting, you see, America has to do with great space, great land masses, great enormous space, and a few people. Even the Indians were few compared to the land. And there is this in the music. Aaron Copland wasn't using authentic tonalities. This has become the American sound because he struck certain cold, rather penetrating and evocative intervals that suggest space to us.
Dance is the oldest form of theater, a living art which summons up centuries of dance tradition. Each dancer must bring to each new performance a physical technique that costs a lifetime to develop and sustain. And a great ballet company must bring to the stage an excitement that lures us to each performance with fresh expectancy. Swan Lake is classic ballet at its best, vividly reflecting its origins in the imperial courts of 19th century Europe. In 20th century America, ballet started to explore new themes and styles, but America still had no major company of its own. Then, in 1940, American Ballet Theatre was formed. While its training and repertoire followed a direct line from the European roots of ballet, American Ballet Theatre was conceived to nurture a vast repertoire of choreographic creativity. This dream appealed particularly to some of the company's young American artists looking for a place to develop their own ideas. Among them, AGNES DEMILLE. Here, she and other young choreographers opened traditional ballet to American styles and concepts.
On a handle. Try it, all of it. The turns, and turns, 2.